They're barriers in consciousness. I call them the boundary conditioning, if you will. We are conditioned within certain boundaries. Our thinking bumps up against certain boundaries, and there's certain pseudo-truths. In other words, they're not the truth, but they are believed by enough people to be the truth that, in fact, they're never questioned, and so they become your truth. They become your boundary conditions. And so you and I have boundary conditions. We have conditions, and if nobody ever explored those boundary conditions, well, we wouldn't have things like flight or cell phones, or you wouldn't be watching a TV. You know, these are things that, you know, once were an idea or a thought or an image or a belief or, you know, a suspicion in somebody's mind that might be possible, and they explored that into those who were watching, those at the time who were questioning. Often their sanity was questioned. Nietzsche has a saying that I've always liked. Those who were dancing looked insane to those who could not hear the music. So sometimes other people can't hear the music and you're dancing to, and so you might appear to be insane to them. And so that brings me around to the subject of being responsible for, in other words, being accountable for the choices that you make. Choosing to live a life of design, choosing to live a life that makes a difference and that has power and that is an expression of your true inner self, rather than conform to the boundary conditions that are imposed upon you from the outside and attempting to stay safe by living within those boundary conditions. And what's even worse is never questioning them. And I don't mean that it's worse. It's not a bad thing if you never question your boundary conditions. It's just that it's extremely limiting. Your choices will always be limited to what's already known, what's already safe, what's already been tried 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, so that you will be given by your boundary conditions a predictable future, a almost certain outcome to your life. It will look very familiar because it will look like pretty much everybody else's with some variations. And so there will be this urge to break out of that, which is a true calling, if you will, to break through or to break out of these imposed boundary conditions. And then there will be an equal, if not superior or strong, I won't use the word superior, I'll use stronger or more powerful force pulling you to stay safe, to not question the norm, to belong, and to manage your life inside of these boundaries, to be satisfied with that. So you'll have these opposite pulls in your heart and soul as you explore your life and as you begin to explore questions like, what is love? You know, am I capable of being loved? Am I capable of truly, truly loving another human being? Am I somebody who makes a difference in the world? Does it really matter if I'm even alive? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What's the purpose of this life, this identity that I've been given? On the one hand, it is a beautiful gift, and you have an opportunity to expand your consciousness and your awareness and the effect of your life out and touch many, many millions of people's lives, and in a positive way. Or you could just be another one of those who live safely throughout life until finally one day your body gives out and you die. And you look back over your life and you wonder, what was that about? You know, what was it that I was here for? Did I accomplish anything that made a difference in the world, or did I make a difference in my family's life, or did I even make a difference in one person's life? Does anybody really, did it matter that I came here? And so these are some of the things that we run up against, of course, and I believe that every person has their own version of that, their own version of what's my life about, and how can I make a difference in my life. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to talk to you about that, and then I really, really welcome any questions that come up for you as we are discussing that, because I really am not interested in coming here and giving you a lecture. I'm moreover interested in having interactions with you so that it touches your life. And if you've ever watched this show and you've thought about calling but you decided not to, well, don't do that anymore, okay? If you thought about calling and you wanted to call this show and you didn't, then you just stayed safe within your own boundary conditions. You know, you just chose to not expand at all outside, but just to watch, just sit back as a spectator and watch life. And that's okay. However, this show is not about that. This show is about expanding your awareness, expanding your consciousness, and expanding the legacy that you live and that you leave for future generations.